Alrighty, howdy everyone. So today I'm going to cover a few things that have happened this week that you may have missed. Also going to talk about a couple of ICO reviews I want to cover, things I'm looking at the moment, and yeah, just give a recap. And also, more importantly, we're doing a giveaway. Today we're doing Bitcoin Cash. So some of you may not know about that. We're doing a bit of a giveaway. We'll have that at the end of our live video today. And then with the Bitcoin Cash, you may be aware of Bitcoin. Okay, so that's been around for a long time. Bitcoin Cash has recently come out. It's just a coin, but essentially the main thing I like about Bitcoin Cash is it's practically identical to Bitcoin, except that it does not have the same sort of fees. When you come into this space for the first time and you buy your first Bitcoin, it's very exciting. And then the current situation is that the fees are very high to send Bitcoin at the moment. I'll cover that, some of the stuff I'm going to talk about in a minute. And so you need to allow for that. Like if you've got Bitcoin and you want to send it to someone, you want to show them how it works, the fees are ridiculous and it's just unusable like that. So, that's why I'm doing a one on Bitcoin Cash today. So there's lots of others like Litecoin and Dash, fantastic other coins you can use and are widely accepted. But today we'll do it on Bitcoin Cash. So let's cover some of the news that's happened. Actually, before we do that, we'll just have a quick look at the market cap. All right. Okay. So we've still got, if you've been taking notice of the last week with Bitcoin, it has went up to 20,000 and then went all the way down to about 11,000. Currently, it's at 14,190. Okay, so you can see it here. This is the market cap of 237 billion, and then you've got $14,190 for the price of Bitcoin. Ethereum 769. Bitcoin Cash is just under 3,000. So now, just recently, if we click on Bitcoin, we'll have a quick look at the chart. I'll show you what's happened in the last week. I'm just waiting for that to load. Okay, so let's look at the last 3 months in this chart. So back in November, we're looking at about $8,000. Kept on going up. Now we got to about 14,000, and here we peaked at nearly 19,000 on this chart. If we look at the last 7 days, we'll have a quick look at that. So as you can see, it was right up here, 19, actually touched close to 20,000, and then it came all the way back down to just under 12,000, maybe close to 11,000, and now it's regained a little bit, and we're back at 14,000. Okay, so there was a big sell-off, and the reason for that was there was quite a huge run-up. If you've been watching Bitcoin, you would have seen in the news, and a lot of people knew about it, a lot of people were getting in, and when you get this huge increase in the price, it's usually comes back with a retracement of some level. So that was expected, and you know what? The best time is when it dips is to buy again, because it's reached only 20,000, but at that stage you're thinking, well, can I ever get it for these prices again? And probably not. But in this case, you would have had a chance to get around about 12,000 again. Now it still may actually drop. It's quite possible it might drop back to 9,000. But at this stage, it could just not drop back there. It could just continue onwards, and we could see a trajectory going off this way. So this is on Bitcoin. All right, so let's have a look. We'll go back now. So that's what the market's been doing. So you might have come in at $20,000 or $19,000 you paid for Bitcoin, and you might be down 30-40% right now. And if you put a large amount of money in, that could be a problem. for you. But one thing, don't just sell out, because you're only going to lose then. If you hold, you got a chance to make that back and some. You just got to look at a longer term thing with this sort of stuff with crypto. So at the moment, the markets regained some, a bit of green. You can see here the percentage change of how much they increased, and there's quite a few there that are in the green. So that's pretty good. The other day, it was just all red. For the last 3-4 days before Christmas, it was just down, 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 down. But finally, we've got a bit of green. So that's pretty exciting news. Also, just take note of the dominance of BTC. This is how much of the market, in fact, if we click on this, this is to do with how much of the market is Bitcoin and how much of the market is to do with the altcoins, other coins other than Bitcoin. So this tells you how much money is invested in both those markets. So what happens is when Bitcoin's doing really well, is in price, everyone's got their money in Bitcoin, Bitcoin dominance is high, and when that happens, a lot of the altcoins drop back in value, and vice versa. When Bitcoin is steady or not moving, money seems to flow into the altcoins, and it causes that balance from maybe a higher BTC down to a lower. So you can actually have a look at here. You can see on here that back in January, Bitcoin was like 86% dominant. And what happened was it started to slowly lose its value, and it got all the way down to I think about 37% there, and then it's moved back up. Now currently, if we have a look at this chart, we're about 42% currently. It did go as high as 61 just recently. Okay, that was when the market was going up quite a lot. There was a lot of money going into it. So this gives you an idea of the money in Bitcoin versus the other altcoins. So just take that into consideration when you're looking at the market as well. All right, so that's just a brief overview of the coins. Just a couple. There's a lot more there to look at. We won't cover them now. I just want to cover. Let's have a look at. Yeah, I've taken some notes here. This was interesting. So in the last week, some of you that are on top of the news, you already know this, but Charlie Lee, he's the guy that basically responsible for Litecoin in the development and the promotion of Litecoin. Now he put this on Twitter a little while ago. This was on 12th of December, a few weeks ago, and he was talking about buying LTC, extremely risky, and he's expecting to have a multi-year bear market, and don't be surprised if it drops 90% from like $48 to $4. If you can't buy it, so if you can't handle that, don't buy it. Now, since then, he's actually sold. He's said he sold all of his Litecoin, and he's completely out of that. He said the reasons were because he didn't want to cause controversy with holding the coin. I don't quite get that, because everyone in the market that understand, if you are promoting a coin, if you're backing and developing a coin, if you're involved in any project, it's totally assumed that you have that that coin that you're into. That's a given. Unlike maybe the stock market where people disclose, I'm in this stock, I'm in this stock. In this space, everyone that promotes and talks about is practically holding that currency, and it can be assumed that that's the case. So he apparently sold and donated LTC and got out of that space. He said he's still involved in the development of it and be pushing forward, but I don't understand that. I'm not sure that relationship. I understand that to be part of a project, you know, to really get the most of it, you want to be incentivized. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not at that stage. Maybe you can actually work for free. And I don't know. I don't know if he's completely out of the market. He definitely sold at a good time, high in the market, but the market's going to bounce back, and he might have it in other altcoins. I don't know. So the time will tell what will happen there. But since then, I've actually dropped my Litecoin holdings quite considerably, a lot lower, because to me it's a risk at the moment. Who's now pushing Litecoin? Is it just going to amazingly get in front of people by itself? You know, who's going to be the spokesperson for Litecoin? Who's going to replace Charlie Lee? Or is Charlie Lee continuing to do interviews? Is he going to be in the limelight talking about everything that he's done previously, except he's not going to own Litecoin. So we'll see what happens there, but I've completely got out of Litecoin, just small amount of holdings at the moment for Litecoin. Let's go to some interesting things with fees. I saw this here. This is one of the guys from Mark Mason, and to do with Dash Force News, okay, and does a great on YouTube, does a great show to talk about Dash. It's a great product, great coin, fantastic what they're doing. So this was a thing. This happens all the time, and if this is an Exodus wallet, this happens to any wallets. If you actually use Bitcoin, this is the problem. So I'm not sure if you can see it on the screen, but down here is the network fee. This is how much you pay to do your transaction. So this transaction was $500, trying to send Bitcoin, and the network fee was $144.44. And the more amount of money that you try and transfer, that fee increases. So right now, Bitcoin is extremely expensive to move, and it only, it's terms of investment, that's, I don't know, that's a 20%, 20, maybe even a 30% fee, $144 out of 500. That's a phenomenal fee. And in the real world, if you went to the bank and said, I just want to transfer $500 out, I want to transfer it to someone, and they said, yeah, no problem, so that'll be $144. You'd say, what the hell, and you'd leave that bank. It wouldn't happen. In Australia, we have ATM fees. Apparently, they're getting rid of those. We pay sort of between $2.50, some places a bit more. And those fees we hate because we're transferring our own money and we're paying for it. Realize that there's a lot of infrastructure and money investment in it, but nonetheless, people do not like paying for paying for fees when they're transferring their funds, and this applies to Bitcoin. So then I did a quick look at the Bitcoin fee. We'll have a look at this chart. So this chart here, just the last 3 months, you can see how it used to be down here. It used to be about $2.50 maybe back in October, and then in November it spiked up to $20, and that was crazy. I remember talking about it then, how ridiculous it was with the fees. And it come back down, you know, it can live with maybe $5 or something like that, even though that is high. If you're transferring $1,000 or $10,000, it's not so bad. Then in December, it's got worse, up to $25. Thought that was bad. How can it get any worse than this? And now we see, as of a couple of days ago, it has come down to 45, but it went up to $55. Now this is the median price. So a lot of these, this is just the median, but if you actually get into a wallet and try and transfer like you do in Exodus, it will tell you exactly how much it costs. So, you know, let's give you an idea. I'll just have a quick look at what it is right now for Bitcoin to transfer out of a wallet. Okay, so if we go into send, and we want to send, see if this calculates the fees for us. Right now the fee is $10.66, but I've actually had other times where that was $50 and $150, depending on the time, depending on how many transactions. Currently that was $10 if I want to do that. Now I don't know, I might just put I'll try it later, but I'll put an address in and see if it changes. I'm not 100% sure, but this changes quite a lot. So you can do it 1 minute, it'll be this, and then you'll come back again and it'll literally be 100. I saw this morning $150 to transfer. It was $500. It's insane, and yeah. So I want people to be aware of that. Whereas if you use a different currency, the fees are nowhere near as high. Okay, so that's something to be aware of. Okay, and let's have a look at some of the other tokens. So I've added in Ether, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and Dash. And we'll just move this little window out over here. Alright, and as you can see, these are all the different Prices, the blue one there is Ethereum, so the transaction fee was up around the $1.40. Litecoin was even at around the $1.40. Now the settle down here, red Bitcoin Cash is currently medians maybe 30, 20, 25 cents. Next one is Dash, currently at 60 cents. And then we've got Litecoin around 70 cents US. And then maybe 90 cents for Ethereum. Actually, my last transaction, I think I paid about $1 when I was doing a transfer. So that gives you an idea of the transaction cost. If you're not sure, you can check your wallet. Also, when you come to this one here, bitinfocharts.com, and you can actually do a comparison on the currencies yourself and actually see what sort of fees as well. So if you know that. Okay, another exciting thing which I thought was extremely important to talk about. Bitcoin Cash was added to Coinbase. So as you know, I use Coinbase here. It's probably one of the easiest ones in Australia. Other places, America, it's huge. With Bitcoin Cash, they added it to Coinbase, and there was a lot of controversy over that. Problems with trading, problems with access, price spiked, went down a lot. So that was another story and a half with that. But basically, at the end of the day, right now, you can go into Coinbase if you have an account, or you can set yourself up an account. If you don't have a Coinbase account, I'll put a link below so you can join for that. And once you buy your first lot of crypto, I think it's about $100 worth, you'll actually receive $10 worth of Bitcoin, and so will I. So that's just an invite to that. I'll drop that down below. If you already got Coinbase, you'll see it in there, and it will have an option for Bitcoin Cash, and you'll see it different. I think in there they actually have. I'll have a quick look. Just give me a second. I'll have a look at. Let's log in. We'll have a quick look at the colors. Don't be confused. Don't mix up Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. Similar names, but it's not the first time this has happened. There has been plenty of forks of Bitcoin, and they also share similar names. In fact, I'd have to check, but there was one sent out, one possibly created yesterday, and there was like 6 forks of Bitcoin using similar names. So once you log in here, you can actually click on buy and sell, and you'll see they've denoted it with different colors. So you've got here Bitcoin with the standard orange that you used to. Then they've got Bitcoin Cash. They've done it the same symbol, slightly different, in green. Okay, so just remember that if you buy Bitcoin, that's great, and it might stay in your Coinbase wallet. But when you if you select Bitcoin Cash, it'll switch to that, and then you can purchase it. The difference is the fees on Bitcoin for transferring are high and can change at any time, whereas Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Litecoin are much cheaper. So that's where you can buy it in here, and I've done some other videos on how to do these buys, so I won't cover that now. But I just wanted to let you know about that. It was pretty interesting. Okay, so that was Coinbase. Now another one I want to talk about was Ether Delta. So some of you don't know what Ether Delta is. It's essentially an online exchange. However, it's decentralized. And recently they were hacked. And the way they were hacked is when you type in Ether Delta and you go to the actual site and it loads the app, what happened was they actually changed the DNS. So that's the naming system for the internet. And they got in there and they changed it to go to a different site to look just like Ether Delta. And people who accessed that site and then loaded their individual private keys in, it's possible that they were compromised. Don't know if that has happened. I haven't actually seen any reports that happened. But if you didn't go there while that happened, you were fine. I didn't actually. This is why it's good to subscribe to. For example, I'm subscribed to Ether Delta in Twitter, or you could do that in Telegram, and you'll get notifications when things like this happened. They actually said there was a problem. Don't access it. But if you didn't get that news and you accessed it, there was a possibility that your private keys were used or stolen. So you got to be super careful with this sort of stuff. If you had a Trezor or a Ledger, I believe or MetaMask, I think there was if you had those, that protected you because it told you that this was not the correct site. So Ether Delta is back online, but you need to be careful and put extra measures in for that so that you don't get your private keys stolen. So I'm glad they're back online, and you use that for trading. If you need to get maybe tokens, I use for ERC20 tokens for Ethereum. If you need to get some tokens on there, you can use that. It's a bit slower than a normal exchange, but it's completely decentralized, and it's not like a centralized exchange where that can also get hacked as well. You just got to be careful. All right, so there was a couple of weeks ago, I think I did a review on Envion, and I never invested in Envion, but I wanted to talk about some things that I've seen. So these are some of the questions I've screenshotted in what was it? Telegram. That's right. I was in the Telegram app, and these are things to be wary of that can happen. So, for example, this first person here is saying they bought with a credit card, and they're like, "Well, what's happening with that?" And you may not have known at the time. Maybe there was fine print, but if you went and bought with a credit card, all payment tokens are locked for a 6-month period. Okay, so that means if you were unknown to you, if you had purchased this ICO with your credit card, you will not be able to sell or transfer your tokens for 6 months. Now, a lot of people weren't aware of that. Maybe it was in the fine print, but you didn't see it. I tell you right now, don't be buying ICOs with credit cards, or even, in my opinion, wouldn't even be doing it with BTC. And I'll get to the reason for that in a sec. The next one, there was more people paying with a credit card. How long do we have to wait? And it's because it's not an automatic process. It's just like normal processing with a credit card and matching up the transactions, making sure people have paid, and then a lot of it involved, and then issuing the tokens on that. Also, there was people that sent transactions with Bitcoin, and they're waiting to get their tokens. It could be because the transaction hasn't went through. It could be the same reason. These are all manual, semi-automatic transactions. There's nothing like a smart contract, which I'll cover. This is why we use Ethereum, because Ethereum is a platform. We've got contracts, these smart contracts, whereby when you send Ethereum to that smart contract, it's only going to give you the amount of tokens. Now, different contracts do different things, but if it's for ICO, it will take your Ethereum and then give you tokens either straight away or on a specified date. And that's built into the contract, okay? These other ones where the credit card and BTC, that doesn't exist. That's not how it works at all. And so that's something to be careful of. I wouldn't use either of those payment methods. Also, someone raised about how come you raised, it was 32 million, but last week you showed that you raised 35 million. So there's a lot of people questioning exactly how much they're raising, and how would you know? There's no contracts here to say how much money they collected on the credit cards or even BTC. When you do it by Ethereum, it's quite transparent about how much money is going to that actual token address. And here's another problem. When they tried to use their credit card, they were charged at a higher percentage, and the bank, there's nothing they could do about it. So these these things happen when you do things like this, when you try and use a credit card or BTC to get involved in ICOs. So yeah, who knows? They still might deliver with Envion. That they've updated people, let people know. But these are all risks. Like, if you didn't know about that 6-month contract with the credit card, and it means you couldn't even sell your tokens. To me, that's a terrible thing, and you shouldn't get involved in that sort of stuff. All right, so I think we've covered. We'll just have a quick look at the rest of the notes. Oh yeah, Nucleaus Vision. This is an ICO coming up. I might do some due diligence on that and actually do a review for you, just so you can see what it's about. I just want to cover, there was a couple of ICOs I was looking at. I won't cover all of them, but there was Go Network, Nucleus Vision, Experty, Theta, and possibly Telegram. So I won't cover all of them today, and I'll probably do some reviews on individually on some of these. But I will say some of these ones I've found out are part of ICO Gold Rush, and it's a course by NG. And NG put this course together to do with how to learn with ICOs, and honestly, that's how I learned how to get into ICOs. So I'll drop a link down there for you for that if you're interested in learning the process with ICOs. You can check that out. But basically, I'm part of the Slack group and part of the weekly webinars with that. So I'm fortunate that I get to participate in that, and all the members get to see those replays, or they can participate in those webinars, and they get to ask questions, and we get to talk about what ICOs are coming up and what people are investing in. So that it's really a good platform, really a good group of people, and they the good thing about it is you're not going to, if there's something scammy about something, you're going to discover that in that group, because people do heaps of research about it, and no one wants anyone to fail. So for example, I was this is a prime example. I was interested in Go Network, and I was sent a link about that, and it brought up a lot of issues with their intentions for this project, and also maybe possibility that the intention was just a money-making exercise as opposed to really making some change in that area. And that's what you got to watch for, because a lot of companies come around, they see the opportunity to get onto the blockchain to make a lot of money in the ICOs, and they could make 20-30 million and may or may not deliver on a product. They might just take the money and go. There's really, at the moment, there's nothing to stop that from happening. You'd have to try and sue the people that did it if they had their details, if you could find them. So these are the things that still exist. And if you do want protection and you want all that, then ICOs and crypto land is not for you. Go to the stock market where you're protected. You won't be able to get into these, the stock market things that are listing, because they're for investors that get in early. You may not qualify for that. Also, you got to go through a broker. And yeah, you're protected because they don't. If they do something wrong, they're penalised. But that has developed over time, and I'll save that for another day with the whole stock market stuff. But over time, regulations come in, and they protect you, but at the same time, they take away opportunities for you. So right now, these opportunities to make money in ICOs, and that's something you need to look at. That's something I'm certainly involved with a lot. So Nuclear Vision, we'll just have a quick look at the page for that one. Alright, wait for that to load. Now you can actually sign up for the whitelist if you want to. I suggest you read through the website, and I'll do a review on this as soon as possible for you guys. But just to give you an idea, their idea is they want to do in-store identification. So when someone comes into a store, basically they want to identify that person and make personalized, I suppose, recommendations and offers to that person that comes in their store. So it's essentially, I can't remember what movie it was. Maybe someone can jot down in the comments below. But basically, when they entered into the store, I think they had it was a sci-fi movie, and they had like a device on that recognized who they were. Could be not. I can't remember what it was, but when they went into the store, they started seeing all the ads displaying specifically for them and offers, and it was just them on entering the store, and a bit creepy, but we're getting used to that sort of stuff. And I don't know if they'll do it exactly this way, but essentially when you walk into a store, you'll be identified and you'll be given offers specific to you. And they've already actually got working up already. This is working, I believe they got it in these sensors in locations in India already, I think in 10 retail locations. They send the data, the token they're going to use is for all the data transfer, okay? And basically there's no app required, there's no Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS. That part I've got to investigate because that's interesting what technology they're going to use. So, and it uses with a smartphone. So obviously it's tied into the phone, and it provides that information. Now they've already done 10 stores, tokens sales coming up soon, and then they'll be expanding out, and I'm sure they'll make relationships with vendors. So example, this person here, part of the team, ex-director of sales at Levi. So they've got some people in retail experience, and it's quite interesting. So we'll go through a review of that later, but that's something that's coming up that I want to check out. And one that just finished, we'll have a look at the Bread app. This was one ICO got into, I think it was last week. Yeah, probably last week, week before. It just went live on Behance. If you're not sure about that, it's a trading platform. I'll put a link for you below. It's the most amazing platform I've used. I've used a lot, and it's seamless, easy to use, even for beginners. Really good. But with the Bread app, essentially Bread's been around for a long while now, and it's essentially found on the Google Play and App Stores. This is what it looks like. It's just an app for sending and receiving Bitcoin. They've just updated it, and they're looking at the whole Ethereum and all the tokens for Ethereum. So they just did their token sale that just finished, and essentially the idea is they want to, because they're getting so many downloads of people joining, and they're using the app. It's a very simple process for the Bread app, and the idea is that when the people get introduced to these new apps, they sign up, they get some Bitcoin or whatever. Well, they want to use this loyalty program to get people to continue using the app, which is a great idea, and they've got such a huge support for that app. It was really good. So we'll have a quick look at where they are at the moment. When they launched, I think it was about 75 to 80 cents. They launched at the ICO, which I got into. I think it went as high as $2.40, perhaps. Today they're about $1.76. But I still think they've got a lot of value. So that's just a quick. There's only been trading for, I think, a couple of days now. Yeah, 2 days from the 24th, just before Christmas it came out. So as you can see, it went up to about $2.40 and currently at about $1.70. So yeah, it's sitting at, I think, 2x currently on that one. But, I think that one can go somewhere. And at the moment, the market's been quite depressed. So I think in the new year, when the market starts to pick up, I think this will pick up as well. So yeah, pretty excited about Bread. That was a pretty seamless process with the whole getting into the crowd sale for it. There was a glitch at the beginning. That was, I think, a week or so ago when we got into it. They had to delay it by a couple of hours, had some issues with the smart contract. So that was pretty good. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I will be posting this on... This will go onto Facebook, this video, which is live right now. And also it'll go onto YouTube. So I'm going to be looking for people's comments. What I want you to do is I want you to like and I want you to share this post, whether it's on YouTube or on video. And I want you to comment with your Bitcoin Cash address. Now, not Bitcoin, but Bitcoin Cash address. So I want you to put that in the comments below, and I'll be randomly selecting someone from either the Facebook comments or the YouTube comments. I'll be selecting a winner randomly, and then I'll be doing another video. And now we're giving away today. We're going to start off pretty easy. We're going to get you started with $10 Bitcoin Cash. And if you don't have a wallet already for Bitcoin Cash, you can either use Exodus. So this would be, if you're looking for a desktop one, let's have a look at Exodus. So it's exodus.io. Make sure this is the correct address. You can download this one. I've done some videos before, but Exodus. So if you don't have a wallet, you can create a wallet here. Another one, if you don't want to have all that, is you can go to bitcoin.com and you can download the wallet there. Now they have both wallets for mobile phones, so iOS, Android. They have Mac. I run a Mac, so I've downloaded that. Plus I've run the one for iOS. So you just click on download the wallet and you can choose which wallet you want to download. Alright, and just remember, when you, I'll be doing some videos on this for wallets, but when you run these wallets for the first time, you go through the process of setting them up. You want to make sure that if you do create a password, you want to write that password down and put in a secure location. And also you want to save normally they have a 12-word recovery phrase where they give you 12 words. You need to write those down in order as well. Okay, so if you don't do that, you can kiss your funds goodbye, because if you put your funds into, let's say you put them into your phone, for example, if you delete that app, how are you going to get your funds back? When you download that app again, it's not going to remember it's not going to remember any of the information you have. You need to restore it, and the only way you can do that is with your 12 word recovery phrase. Okay, that's how it works. If you don't write that down, you can kiss your funds goodbye. So yeah, basically you can use these links here to download, and it's pretty straightforward to do that, but just make sure you do your password, you do your keys, and then once you have your Bitcoin, once you have your Bitcoin Cash address, so I'll just bring this up on the screen now. Yeah, so that's what it will look like, right? So you'll have like a little green, and you'll have orange. So the green one will be the Bitcoin Cash, and basically to get the address down the bottom on here, don't know if you can see that, maybe not. Try that one. Yeah, down the bottom, you'll see it says receive. You click on that one, and then you'll get this QR code, okay? And you also get a link, so you can actually copy and paste that link into the comments. And that's how I can send you your Bitcoin Cash. So yeah, make sure you put those details in. Don't put in your Bitcoin wallet, because if you send you a Bitcoin wallet and I send you Bitcoin Cash, you're not going to receive it, and no one's going to get it. It's going to go into nowhere. All right, so make sure you use Bitcoin Cash. So I think I covered most things I wanted to cover in this live session today. Just a quick one. But yeah, Exodus or Bitcoin.com, you can use those ones. I love Exodus. It's a great wallet. You can also try Bread, but it doesn't have Bitcoin Cash support. So you can have a look at it, but yeah, not going to help you out with getting that Bitcoin Cash I'm going to give away. Also, Nucleaus Vision, I'll do a review of that shortly. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, you can go to ecomrebel.com. You can click on subscribe now, and that'll go to the YouTube channel where you can subscribe. Also, make sure you click the little bell for live notifications. When I do a YouTube video, it will go up there and you'll see live. The same with Facebook. If you see it on Facebook, like the page, like the post, and also you can subscribe to the live notifications as well. And that way, when I do put out some information, you'll be able to get first hand with it. Today I've covered some stuff that's happened in the past. Just wanted a bit of a catch up with, because it's Boxing Day today, and basically, I'll try and do more live so that I'll give you the latest information on what's happening on a daily basis and give you more hints and tips and tricks and how to do a lot of the basic stuff of in learning crypto. Because it does take a lot to learn, but you just need to get a little bit of direction and how to get started, and then you can participate in different things like ICOs, which I'm doing now. So I think that covers about it for today. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share it with someone that could be interested in learning this stuff, and also make sure you put in your Bitcoin Cash address, and I'll be randomly selecting it. I think I might have a look at, I'll have a look at tomorrow, perhaps, give it a day or so, have a look at how many people on there. We probably might do it tomorrow night, do the drawing and see who's going to win. Alright, so you've got to be in it to win it, and I want to see you make sure you got the $10, and that's $10 US, in Bitcoin Cash that I want to transfer you. Alrighty, so looking forward to that. I will talk to you guys again soon. See ya.